Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day for Saturday, September 19th. I'm Ian Cameron. We have arrived at the Stanley Cup Final. It's hard to believe. It felt like just yesterday that it was August 1st and we were getting ready for the beginning of the NHL restart in the two bubble locations, Toronto and Edmonton. And now here we are, a month and a half later. We're already at the Stanley Cup Final. We have arrived at the championship series, and it's down to the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning to see who will emerge as 2020 Stanley Cup champions. Tampa Bay minus 155 is the price here in Game 1. Favored over Dallas. The total is 5, shaded to the over at minus 135 in this Game 1 tonight in Edmonton between the Stars and Lightning. When you look at these two teams, the Dallas Stars have done a remarkable job getting to the Stanley Cup Final, beating Calgary, beating Colorado, winning those two series basically with a offensive-minded style of play. And then against Vegas in the Western Conference Final, Dallas Stars went back to the style of play that they've become familiar or accustomed to the last couple of seasons, tight checking, defensive-minded hockey. That's the way they got things going against the Vegas Golden Knights, and they did a terrific job of it. Kept everything to the outside, made it very difficult for Vegas to get quality scoring chances in those prime scoring areas. And then Anton Khudobin, who was absolutely outstanding in that series, took care of the rest for the Dallas Stars. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they had to work for it against the New York Islanders in the Eastern Conference Final. It wasn't easy to put them away. I'm not at all surprised by that. It is a Tampa Bay Lightning team that, was forced to earn everything they got against the Islanders. And the thing that I think the Tampa Bay Lightning might benefit them as the series goes on is that the Islanders play very similar to the way Dallas does. They're going to try to really clog things up in the middle of the ice and in the neutral zone and try to negate some of that Tampa Bay offensive depth and the speed that they can deliver at that end of the ice. It worked for the New York Islanders to give them a chance in that series, and Dallas is going to play that same way. I think this series, from a totals perspective, could go either way at the beginning. I think as the series goes on, it could get a little bit more lower scoring. I am leaning to Dallas here in Game 1. I think Tampa Bay wins this series in 6, but I think Dallas, this could be one of the opportunities they have to win a game in this series tonight. The extra rest, Tampa Bay coming off a 6-game series against the Islanders, which only wrapped up on Thursday night, which also went to overtime. So, they were out on the ice for a significant amount of time. And you could see fatigue a little bit for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Plus, there's no indication for sure that Braden Point is playing. And we've talked about the significance of Braden Point playing versus Braden Point not playing. The Lightning went 0-2 in the Islanders series without him. We'll have to see if he plays tonight. He did play in Game 6 when they clinched that series against the Islanders. But if you watch that game, you could tell he really wasn't 100%. And that's going to be something that you got to be a little bit concerned about moving forward. If you're the New York Island, or if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning, the health of Braden Point. So we'll have to see if he plays. If he does, he'll probably be, once again, not quite 100%, but with so many of those great players like him, 80%, 75% Braden Point is better than none at all. So we'll see if he plays tonight, but there's definitely, it's definitely a Lightning team that is better with him. They should still be able to score goals without him, but it's been more difficult when he hasn't played in those games recently. But they'd still have 3 outstanding lines with Braden Point, Kucherov, and I'm trying to think now the third guy on that line, Palat. Yes, Andre Palat, Killorn, Johnson, and Cirelli on the second line, Gord, Blake Coleman, and Barclay Goodrow on the third line. And all 3 of them have contributed offensively. And I think that's going to be the challenge for Dallas in this series. I don't think Vegas got a lot from their depth forwards. Tampa Bay's been getting offense from their depth forwards. That's going to be the bigger challenge for Dallas in this series. The way I see Game 1 going, I lean to the Dallas Stars here, plus 135. I do think that it's a better situational spot for them, with Tampa Bay coming off the short turnaround Thursday night against the Islanders, playing Game 1 of this series just 48 hours later. Less than that, actually. based on when Game 6 ended on Thursday night. So I lean to Dallas, but my stronger opinion is on the total here in Game 1. I think it could become a lower scoring series as it goes on, but I'm not convinced that will be the case here in Game 1 tonight. Dallas was on their game defensively against Vegas, to be sure, but now they've had a few extra days off, and when you're in that groove, you're in that rhythm, you're locked in defensively, Anton Udobin standing on his head, playing marvelous in net. This is now a break for him from his routine and his rhythm. I'm not convinced he's as sharp or as strong in net tonight for the Dallas Stars in Game 1. And on the flip side, as I mentioned, Tampa Bay, after an exhausting overtime game on Thursday night to end the series against the Islanders, could see some fatigue. Their defensemen played a lot of minutes. I know it's a good defense with McDonough and Chernak and Shattenkirk and Hedman and Sergachev. I mean, it's a really good blue line. Bogosian's been excellent. A resurgence for him of his career. They all played big minutes Thursday night. And oftentimes when you got to play a short turnaround as a defenseman and you're feeling fatigued, that's when the giveaways happen, the turnovers happen. You're a step slow. You take a few more penalties maybe, which can result in power plays and ultimately potentially goals for the other team. So I could see that happening. Just a little bit of an uptick in defensive miscues and sloppiness from the Tampa Bay defense tonight. And one pattern that put me on this game over the total as well, Tampa Bay, first 3 rounds, Game 1, 2, and 3 of each of the first 3 rounds for Tampa Bay, they seem to be a little bit higher scoring to start the series. And then as the series went along, Game 4 and beyond, then things would start to get tighter and lower scoring. But in Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3 of the first 3 rounds of the playoffs for Tampa Bay, that's 9 games total, there had been at least 5 goals scored in 7 of those 9 games. And that's the situation we have here. So I'm going with over the total here in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Over 5, minus 135 between the Dallas Stars and Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 1 of the NHL Stanley Cup Final. That's your Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day for Saturday, September 19th. I'm Ian Cameron. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. A reminder to check out pubsportsradio.com daily for great content. And a reminder, part of that content is Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy, which you can watch live Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Pub Sports Radio YouTube channel, breaking down every NFL game throughout the season and some college football betting discussion thrown into the mix as well. Don't miss Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy right here on Pub Sports Radio YouTube channel, Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I'll be back with you on Monday for another Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day.